Welcome back, everybody, to way number 24. Way number 24 is Be'emunat Chachamim. Believe in the wise man. Value wisdom. Now, in way number 10, we spoke about having a teacher, having someone that you learn from. But now we're talking about the whole concept of wisdom. We need to value wisdom. Wisdom in every area of life, by the way. It's an interesting thing. It says that Torah b'goyim al tamin. The Gentiles don't have Torah. Chachma b'goyim tamin. Wisdom by the Gentiles, they do have. They have tremendous wisdom. Torah, they don't. That's the Jewish job. Wisdom, they have plenty of. And we need to seek out wisdom, all wisdom. King Solomon says, if you desire wisdom like money and buried treasures, then you will find it. You need to seek out wisdom. The world today is not different than what it was 1,000 years ago. Even though they didn't have smartphones then, they didn't have Netflix, and they didn't have these distractions on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all the other social media platforms. But they had other forms of distractions. And King Solomon's creed from Proverbs remains the same. You need to seek out wisdom because the distractions are plenty. Seek true wisdom. To gain wisdom, the first step is to decide that what you want out of life is truth and that you will not settle for anything less. Search for wisdom. Don't wait to bump into it. Maybe one day. Oh, one day I'll arrive at wisdom. That doesn't work. You know, we said previously, Asay l'chorav, make for yourself a rabbi, make for yourself a teacher. Our sages tell us this is not only a teacher in Torah. Have someone who will be your teacher when it comes to technology. Have someone who will be your teacher when it comes to parenting. Have someone who will be your teacher when it comes to marriage. Have someone who will be your teacher when it comes to any topic that you're looking for. Seek out someone who's wise in that area, someone who understands, someone who's a skilled educator, who can transmit the information properly. Find someone like that and make them your rabbi. My rabbi of blessed memory, of Beryl Eisenstein, when we learned in the yeshiva, every single day, there was a little sheet on the board, on the bulletin board at the entrance of the study hall. And it was the Mare Makomos. It was the source sheet for what the class was going to be on that day. So why do we need to learn the source sheet before the class? Because what he was trying to teach us, and what every rabbi should be doing, is this is the source material, go through it and tell me how I'm going to see this, how I'm going to learn this. Learn how to think like a scholar. That's what he was trying to teach us. He would give us all these sources. We would learn the Talmud, and then we'd say, okay, now look at this Rashi, and look at this Tosfot commentary, and then look at the Rashba and the Ritva and the Maharsha, and he would look at all these commentators on the Talmud and try to come up with what's the problem, what's going on here, what is he trying to bring out? How do we think like a Torah scholar? How do we think like a Talmud Chacham? You know, my rabbi today, Rabbi Yitzchak Berkowitz, and Rabbi Moshe Weiss, and Rabbi Moshe Feinstein of blessed memory, they took the Torah and applied it to modern technology, to modern challenges. Questions of AI, artificial intelligence, are real halachic questions. You know, self-driving cars have pre-programmed that if there are two people that are going to get hit by the car, they in a split second determine which one should be hit. One is older, one is younger. One is in a safer car, one is in a less safe car. These are determinations that are pre-algorithmized. Okay, the algorithm is there already, pre-embedded into these AI devices, into these self-driving cars. But halachically, we have to know the answer. What's the right thing? What's the wrong thing? Right? There's never a good solution in such a case. But that's a very deep halachic question. You know, there was a story told once. Someone was going to have a brain surgery in Tel Aviv. He tells the doctor, if you don't mind, I just need to ask my rabbi prior to you operating on my brain. He says, fine, go ask whoever you want. So he goes to the rabbi, and the rabbi listens carefully, and he takes out a napkin, and he draws on the napkin a diagram and gives it back to the patient. He says, tell the doctor that he should only operate in this way. The next day he comes to the surgeon and he brings him the diagram from the Chazon Ish. This is in the 1940s. The surgeon looks at it, and he couldn't believe his eyes. He said, who drew this picture? He said, the rabbi from Bnei Brak that I told you I was going to ask. He says, it can't be. Is he a physician? No. He says, I need to meet this rabbi. And indeed, he followed what the Chazon Ish said, and the surgery operation was very successful. And from that day on, the surgeon never operated without first consulting with the Chazon Ish. Now, the Chazon Ish was not a surgeon. So how did he know? Because everything, all wisdom is in the Torah. And if you know how to properly learn and understand Torah, you'll know all of medicine, you'll know all of science, you'll know all of nutrition, you'll know everything that you need to know about this world, in this modern world. We have the power of a direct and uninterrupted transmission from Moses at Mount Sinai all the way to us today. Those of you who have been in our classroom have seen this, the unbroken chain of Torah transmission from Moses all the way, from Moses receiving it from God at Mount Sinai all the way to us learning, Torch rabbis and Torch students learning together. There's a direct transmission which is uninterrupted. Your parents are a fountain of wisdom. Listen well to other people. It's a good practice for listening to Hashem. You know, information center, when you go to a mall, you look, oh, where's that store? You look for that eye, the white eye and the blue circle, right? You look for that symbol and you know where the information desk is. Do you know what information desk means to Jewish people? Find someone who's over 70 years old. Someone who's over 70 has a tremendous amount of life experience. There's a lot that they can teach you. Be bothered by ignorance, and you'll go looking for wisdom. If you get annoyed at those time-wasting, little short videos that they present on YouTube or Facebook, and just distracting our time, these memes, wasting our time. If you get frustrated by it, you'll hopefully be motivated to invest more time in wisdom. Respecting wisdom means you'll take it seriously and make a sincere effort to acquire it. Before you know anything else, you've got to know what you're living for. Wise people know. Listen to them. If you don't know what you're ready to die for, you haven't begun living. We've said this so many times. Know what you're ready to die for. What are you ready to die for? Are you ready to die for your job, for your career? So why do you live for your career? Are you ready to die for your children? So why don't you live for your children? Spend that extra time. I tried to take this lesson to heart myself, having said this so many times. So just tonight, after we finish dinner, my son says to me, Abba, can we have a baseball catch? Now, I'm tired. I've had a long day. I'm really not in the mood of having a baseball catch. But I know how important it is to my son. I know how important it is for our relationship, for our friendship, for our love. And we had a 20-minute catch, throwing the baseball back and forth. And then I got into the car and came to teach class here tonight. Because I want to live for what's important. If I'm willing to die for my family, am I willing to live for my family? If you're Jewish, it makes sense to look into Judaism as a source for wisdom. Jews should look at Judaism because Judaism is the greatest source of all wisdom. We are in generation I. Everything is about me. The greatest mistake of our generation is thinking that we are the greatest. Look at someone else who's wiser and get the wisdom from them. The greatest power in the world is knowledge. So, there are people in this world who have wisdom and understanding. Find them, believe in them, and allow their wisdom to enter your soul. Thank you so much. That concludes way number 24.